Greetings, everybody. I'm Lobo, and welcome to Luna. That was not pretty. This is episode 126 of my Minecraft survival series, and today we're going to be working with Nether Portals. Now, we do have two Nether Portals in Luna. This one right here, this is the only actual permanent Nether Portal in Luna, so essentially we just have one. But this one, the only permanent Nether Portal, is actually pretty hard to get to because we do have to pass through multiple sets of doors in order to make our way to it. We have to cross a wet floor sign, which, you know, obviously is not advised. It's incredibly slippery over here. And on top of all that, we need a security badge to even get back into this area. If we don't have the badge on us, then guess what? We can't go in. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, this makes it incredibly difficult to get to the Nether, to travel around, which we've been doing a lot lately. And I think it's about time that we actually got some more Nether portals in, which are easier to access. Now, I did mention we have two portals. This is the second non-permanent portal. It's not actually going to be here once we actually get some builds in the Waterside District. But we are going to need to figure out where we want these additional portals to go, because I do want them kind of spread throughout Luna, just so we can find them, get to them, and get through them easier. Now, despite how easy that sounds, this is going to be kind of a big project, and we're going to need to prepare for that project because we're going to tackle it in phases, and we're going to have to start getting prepared for the later phases of this project now, which involves collecting a bunch of netherrack. Well, we already collected a bunch of netherrack, but it involves getting that netherrack from the Nether and bringing it back to Luna to smelt up into nether brick. So we're probably going to end up doing a lot of back and forth, or at least I am. I don't know if I'll bring you along for every trip back and forth, but you know, we'll probably end up doing some back and forth throughout this episode, throughout the next bonus episode, maybe throughout the next episode, just getting a ton of this stuff actually smelted up in our super smelter over here. So I am, of course, going to watch the furnaces kick on, make sure everything is looking good here, and also because it's a lot of fun. I like watching this thing get activated. But yes, I do anticipate we will be going through a ton of nether brick as the nether portal, like the interdimensional gateway. There we go, look at all that. As the interdimensional gateway kind of spreads its way through Luna, you know. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I think I'm excited about this project. I am. And now it's time to get started on the early phases of it. And the first thing we need to do is figure out just where we're going to put these additional nether portals. So we need to figure out the ideal placement of them. Now, I don't want them plainly visible on the surface of the city. I want them hidden deep underground. And I was thinking, hey, our storage system runs beneath our entire city, so that will give us access to pretty much everywhere we need to go in our city. For instance, if we come all the way down to this far end of the storage system and we put in a portal, let's say right here, that would give us access to our farm district, which is up this way, and our waterside district, which is over here. So that kind of, you know, gives us access to both districts on this end of the city. And if we go a little bit further down our storage system, we could do pretty much the exact same thing over here. Now, we are going to have to actually build out a room like we did on the other end that has the 3 exits to our storage system. You know, with one way going up to our quarantine district right up here, the other way going to our waterside district, the opposite end of our waterside district, and we could maybe put our nether portal over here on this side. Now, we are going to have to go ahead and build this up. So, yeah, I need to take a few minutes to get that done. It's going to be longer than it'll be a few minutes for you guys, but longer for me. But yeah, we are going to have to go ahead and get that done. And you guys already saw me build the other one way back. So I'm not going to, you know, spend an entire episode walking you through how I do it. What I think we're going to do instead is just go ahead and call Watchdog on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get this end of our storage system looking like it actually belongs here. Welcome back, everybody, and we have this end of the storage system finally done. It's about time, right? It's about time. I did have to elevate this a little bit to not interfere with the redstone, so we did end up with this little waterfall right here, which means that the flooding of the storage system comes from Wolfen's laboratory. This is where it all began. We now know how our storage system got flooded. Got flooded because Wolfen's laboratory did some stuff, which makes sense because it's flooded up there as well. If we go up to our potion brewer throughout this little path I made right here, you would see that that is flooded as well. So yeah, it makes sense that it flooded all the beneath the ground areas too. Anyway, the next step of all this is to figure out where our nether portals are actually going to be, find their coordinates, and then find their corresponding coordinates in the nether itself. All right, so that is our first set of coordinates for the portal that will go right here, jotted down. And we're going to have to figure out like how many portals we actually want, how many portals we actually want to spread throughout Luna. We know 2 for sure so far. I have an idea for a couple more. We'll see if they actually make sense to put in. I'll go ahead and get those coordinates. We'll do the math. We need to make sure though that these coordinates, like where they correspond in the nether, like we need to make sure we can actually build there, that, some of our farms or some, whatever else we got built in the nether doesn't get in the way. I'm hoping it won't. I'm really hoping it won't. All right, so I've got the coordinates of potentially 5 nether portals that we're going to put in, and there'll be a portal in the overworld and a corresponding portal in the nether. So 10 portals overall, which means we're going to need a pretty good amount of obsidian. And I think 2 stacks should be enough. I think 2 stacks should safely get us through this. Having some left over, I just don't want to have to come all the way back down here and gather obsidian for a second time. So we're going to gather a little bit more than what I think we're actually going to need to get this done. So yeah, this is going to take me a few minutes. So I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. And just in case some of you aren't aware, the best way, I think, there could be better ways. My favorite way to get obsidian from lava converted into obsidian is to just keep that water flowing, because if you keep the water flowing, the lava beneath the obsidian will not burn up the obsidian. It'll just wash the obsidian away and convert that next block into obsidian before the obsidian can get burnt up. Make sense? I hope so. But this should bring us up to 2 stacks of obsidian. So there we go. There are 2 stacks. So just put this up here with this guy. Then we need to go ahead and collect our water back and light this place up. So yeah, we're going to have plenty more of obsidian in case we do end up running short, which I don't think we will. It depends on how big we build our portals, really. But I think we should be good here. Ooh, and another one. Bonus obsidian. And now that we have our materials for making our portals, it's about time to figure out where those portals actually need to be. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take some time and try to figure out where to actually put these things. So give me a few minutes and then I'll be back with you and tell you what the plan is, or I'll tell you how badly thought out this idea was. And unfortunately, it's looking like the majority of these portals are going to be located where something else is already built in the nether. Our gas catcher, our gas spawning room is directly above me right now. So I'm going to try to see if we have enough room to build this below it. I don't want to have to go too low because our entire nether hub, all our other portals are up here in the nether ceiling. I want to keep this in the nether ceiling as well. So yeah, we got to determine how much space we have to actually build down and try to build this underneath the gas catcher. Hopefully we have enough that we're not going to, plummet through the floor here. Let's see how much room we actually have. Let's see, if we go down, we might be able to build something here. I think we might. I'm going to keep rolling with it for now. I'm just going to hollow out this area real quick and figure out where the portals are actually going to be. And you know what? Before I forget about it, I want to stay on top of this. I'm going to take a little bit more netherrack into the overworld, into Luna, to go ahead and continue smelting the nether brick. Obviously, I won't smelt while we're in here, but I do want to have it going as we, go back and forth for supplies and stuff like that, just to make sure we have a continuous smelteration of materials, Because even though I said this belongs to a later phase of the project, the nether brick, we need to start it now because we're going to need a ton of this stuff ultimately. We're going to need a ton of nether brick blocks. And even though it looks like I have a lot of nether brick, I don't, because, you know, 4 stacks of these only makes 1 stack of the blocks. So that's why we're kind of getting started on this a little bit early. We'll talk a little bit more about what the plan is, maybe in the next bonus episode. I might let you guys in on that. But yeah. We'll save that for then. All right, so I got a little bit of area cleared out, and these are the expected positions of our future nether portals. I don't know that we're going to use all of them, but we're definitely going to use 3 of them. We do need to figure out how we're going to link this area up to this room right here, while maintaining access to our storage up there, our nether storage. We're also going to need to figure out how to make sure we can also access this side over here, which is a corridor that goes between our Guardian farm and the Eclipse outpost. So if I can get in here real quick. Right down here is our Guardian farm. Over this way is the corridor that leads to the Eclipse outpost. Yeah, we're going to figure out how to link all that stuff up and also make this room big enough to where it doesn't look ridiculously small. So yeah, I'm going to actually take some time and dig down and figure out how much taller we can make this by going lower. Actually, we should be able to determine that pretty quickly. Let's just go ahead and start digging down and see how deep we can actually go before we fall through the floor, you know? So let's take this very carefully. I should probably get some fire resistance potions if I'm going to do this. That looks like the bottom of the ceiling. Okay, so that's where our drop is. This is about as low as we're going to be able to go. And that, I think, actually does give us a pretty decent amount of room to build in here. We can do something with this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hollow a little bit more of this out. Yeah, and get fire resistance. Fire resistance has been acquired, and I was just thinking, you know, it'd be great, you know, going back and forth between the nether and the overworld, getting stuff, like gathering supplies. You know, it'd be great. Convenient nether portal access. Why don't we have that already? And just to keep you guys up to date with the progress on this room, right now I'm just kind of drawing out the perimeter and avoiding lava if I can manage it. You can hear the gas are spawning above us. That's one thing I'm worried about as we continue to open this area up. I really don't want to have gas spawn in here, especially since our floor is going to be so shallow. And would you look at this? We got gas legs dangling through the ceiling here. That's one thing I didn't consider, that this is right underneath our gas spawning room. So we're going to have gas legs dangling through the ceiling of this room that we're going to build. At least until this bug gets fixed where gas appear lower than they actually are. You guys remember me complaining about that a while back when we were doing our tree farm and stuff like, or when we were doing renovations and stuff to it. Yeah, so gas legs will be a feature of this room, I guess. Check it out. We got another one. So yes, gas legs will definitely be a feature of this room. And I also wanted to clarify that I don't think we're going to get into the actual design of the room today. Right now, we're just clearing up the space, linking up the nether portals, doing all the stuff that needs to happen first. Because I don't know what the room is actually going to look like yet. I want to put more thought into it before we actually get around to building it. Mainly because this is going to be a room that we travel to a lot, because this is going to be the Luna area of the nether, you know? But as far as planning out what this room is going to look like, this is actually right behind the Madhouse section of our Nether Hub. Like, this is the Madhouse portal right here that goes into Wolfen's laboratory. So what we could theoretically do is make this an extension of what we got going on over there. I think that is a viable option, because we're not going too grand with this room because we don't have a whole lot of room to play with. But we don't want it to be one of our standard Nether Hub intersections, you know? We want it to be more than that. So what is the actual plan for this room in this episode? I want to get the room hollowed out. I want to have our nether portals linked up, and I also want to make sure that this room is non-gas spawnable. The other mobs I'm not too worried about, but since we are lowering this now, I'm getting more and more worried about gas. So yeah, I definitely, that's how far I want to make it. That's how far I want to go before we end this episode. Did I just say I wasn't afraid of the other mobs? Because, yeah, I want to take that back. These pigmen that are spawning over here, they're trying to, like, muscle their way in between me and my pickaxe as I'm swinging, and I don't like it. So the good news is we have only one more layer to shave off of this. The bad news, however, is the fact that that layer is the dangerous layer, where we don't have a whole lot of support beneath us. In fact, we're going to be needing to add a floor to this in a lot of areas. The good news is no gas. So I guess we're 2 for good news, 1 for bad news, which is overall positive. Yeah. And this should just about do it for the area I had marked out. I do think I am ultimately going to want this room to be larger than this. I think I've come up with some plans, and I might tell you guys about those in a little bit, but what I want to do right now is just put some torches down to hopefully dissuade gas from spawning over here. I know that, you know, the light level really isn't going to affect it, but I'm hoping that I can space these out in such a way that it will kind of impede the gas actual spawning space. So I'm just going to kind of spam these around real quick, and then we'll come back and talk in a few minutes. All right, so I'm going to divide this into a couple of different areas. Excuse me, Mr. Pigman. I'm going to divide this into a couple of different areas, I think. So you can see that these portals will form kind of a right angle. That's going to be like the border of our room. Our main room, at least, the hub of Luna, which means this portal right here is going to have to go. That one's not going to fit in with what I actually want to do here. So we'll potentially have 5 portals. I'm thinking maybe we'll just roll with 3, but I'm going to keep the other 2 in here for now. So the portals that we're definitely going to keep, the 2 in the storage system, 1 that goes down to our beacon area. The other 2 were potentially going to go into the Waterside District, but I think we can easily access the other 2 portals from the Waterside District, so they're not completely necessary. Now, what I'm hoping we can do is kind of offset these portals, like put them a little bit off of where they actually should be, to kind of make them fit in with the design of this room a little bit better, because I want them all right next to each other. I want them all along this one straight wall rather than, you know, offset by a couple blocks here and there. So we'll see if we can manage to get that working for us. And with our first portal built in our hub now, we can go ahead and install the corresponding portal into the overworld. This one is the one over here by Wolfen's laboratory, or the quarantine district's section of the storage system. Need to get rid of that. And we can hope that this takes us where we want to go. It should. We shouldn't have a problem, I don't think, but you never know, right? It'd be nice if we could actually, there we go. There we go. So first portal installed. And you know what else I'm thinking? I'm thinking that if we were to extend this portal right here, we would also get access to Wolfen's laboratory from this area as well, which would also be very, very convenient. And if we're doing that, what we could also do is extend the Madhouse a little bit, make our main room in the Madhouse a little bit bigger, so it can encompass the Luna Hub as well. So let's go ahead and make our way through here. I'll show you what I'm thinking as we make our way through to the main portal. So what we could do is put a stairway right here that goes down into this room, and that would let us make this room even bigger, make it a little bit more grand as it transitions down into the lower area. I think that might actually end up looking pretty good. I knew it. I knew one of these times when I left the area, there'd be a ghast like waiting for me when I came back. This ghast bug, you look ridiculous, by the way. You look ridiculous. Okay. Face halfway down in the floor. Come on, guy. Anyway, as I said, we're not going to go with all these portals. I decided we're not going to keep these 2. They're too close to the portals that we're definitely building, so they're kind of redundant and not completely necessary. So let's go ahead and link up our second of 3 portals. This one should go to the storage system near the farming district. And it leads us to right here first because, you know, proximity. This is the closest portal here as of right now. But once we get the portal built down in the storage system, then that should link us up to where we want to go. And if you'll remember, we do have secret access to our storage system from the farm district over here by coming behind our house, going down into our cellar, and then opening up our secret bookcase. This takes us into the underground sections of the city where we have our storage system and all that. Now, I think where we want to put this portal is probably going to be right here at the far end. So yeah, let me go ahead and get that in place. And there we go. Now from our storage system over here by the farm district, we should have access to the new Nether Hub that we're building. So let's go ahead and check this out. We'll just pop on through the portal and wait. And wait. Here we go. Here we go. Yes. And lastly, we'll go ahead and get this corner portal built. And the reason why there's like two portals here is, mainly for, symmetry purposes in this room. So let's go ahead and pop on through here. And this portal will lead us into our beacon area. Of course, not yet. Not yet. I have to put the portal down there first, but yeah, we'll do that now. And the main reason for this portal is mainly so I could just have easier access to my beacons if we want to switch them out from jump boosts, which they are usually on, to like say haste if I'm mining or anything like that. I don't have to go down a series of ladders and stuff like that. And we'll eventually get this area dressed up as well. But this should provide us easier access, to all the stuff that we need to access that's down here. And it links up just fine, it seems. And now with all our portals linked up, it's time to start thinking about the design of this room, kind of planning it out a little bit. Now, I know I said we weren't going to be building the room today, and we're not building the entire room, but since we do know that this area, our Luna Hub, is going to be an extension of the Madhouse, and we're going to be carrying this same theme like all the way through here, what we can do is kind of come up with like a little bit of a floor plan at least, and be prepared for when we do come back and actually build in here, because as I said, it is going to be a little bit more decorated, let's say, than our standard Nether Hub corridors and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit more than just this. And I've taken some time to go ahead and draw up some plans. I'll go ahead and walk you through them, tell you what I'm thinking as far as what we're going to be doing down here. We're going to take it a little bit further in the planning stage. I think we will probably try to get in a non-spawnable floor by the time this episode is over, because this is not very convenient having gas spawning here, especially when our floor is so shallow and easily destroyed and there's a pool of lava beneath us. All right. The ones that spawn in the room above us, they're not going to mess with us. I don't mind them. But it is kind of disconcerting when we do have gas spawning in this room. Okay, anyway, like I was saying, we're going to have a corridor that comes down here, and the corridor is going to kind of wrap around this main room, and this room is going to be the room with the portals that go into Luna. We're going to have this corridor that kind of separates these two areas. We'll have kind of a hallway that separates that room from the actual Madhouse, and this hallway will lead up into this corridor, which, as I said, connects the Eclipse Outpost to the Guardian Farm. And then we're probably going to have an outside area here too, is what I'm thinking. And maybe we should extend that outside area just a little bit. So, I think we're going to push this back wall back a little bit and kind of make that an outside area as well. Because I was thinking if we're having this room be symmetrical and we can look out windows here and kind of see, our red sky if we can manage it, we should also be able to look out windows here and see the same thing or something at least very similar. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. So I want to extend this room. I want to get a floor in. I want to not have gas spawn here. So I think at this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is call Watchdog on over here, put on a little bit of music, and try to get this a little bit done. A little bit, just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody, and we have a floor in here now. There he is. I was expecting this magma cube to attack me while I was still in third person mode. You know, I thought that'd be funny, but it didn't end up working out for me. Anyway, let me get rid of the rest of these guys real quick, and then I'll show you what we've done. As I said, we do have a floor in here now. Hopefully, it's a floor that will not spawn gas. I don't think there's any wide enough areas for gas to spawn because we should have mostly non-spawnable blocks in here, and the blocks that are spawnable, we kind of kept those like down to a minimum and put stuff on them to dissuade gas from spawning. So I think we're going to be good. So this right here, I intend to be kind of a balcony, like that kind of, you know, we can access from, you know, this corridor that goes from, as I said, the Guardian Farm to the Eclipse Outpost. Kind of look out on this outdoor area as well. Give us a little bit something more to look at as we're traveling through the Nether, so it's not the same corridors over and over again. And I know I mentioned an outdoor area earlier, just in case you weren't clear on what I was talking about. I was talking about doing something kind of like this, where we can kind of look out and have this illusion of a red sky. That's what I was thinking we could do in the areas that are currently occupied by path blocks. So yeah, that's the plan. We're kind of going to work on this in phases, and this is the first phase complete. So I do think that is probably going to do it for us today, guys, because, you know, I have a few things I need to take care of. I have some planning I got to do. I got to mend up some pickaxes, and, you know, kind of plan out like how this Nether portal stuff is going to work in the overworld. Because remember, these portals are kind of a result of something that went wrong in Wolfen's laboratory, and we need to find some way to incorporate that into the whole idea. But that's all future stuff. We'll talk about that in the future. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, this is actually kind of awkward. Let me actually stand up and look at you guys. Please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. If you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. And as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.